Hey Warriors, AC here. Welcome to a new episode of Warrior Talks. So this is the podcast where we talk about everything and anything in a fun and powerful way. Today we have Jamal Henry. So Jamal Henry was a football player. He's a business owner, motivational speaker, and more importantly, a brother. How you doing, Jay?
I'm doing great. Thank you so much for having me on the show, and man, thank you for the introduction.
Oh, my pleasure. Just telling the truth, And thank you for the drinks.
It's my pleasure.
So if you guys don't know, Jay is a smoothie bar, a nutrition.
Yeah, smoothie bar. So it's a nutrition club. From the bar, which is a shake bar, we get to serve drinks that will help people with their nutrition. So whether it be replacing a meal or energy or even digestive system, yeah, man, that's what we specialize in.
And most importantly, they're tasting freaking good. So, man,
Appreciate
cheers.
that. Cheers, brother.
So, I wanted to ask you, you have a new book, huh, in the writings?
Yes, I do.
So for those who don't know, Jay has this book here. It's called The Spirit of a Champion. So it's basically your lessons that you picked up from your life, right?
Exactly. So 7 lessons that life has taught me through my football career. And the question is, are there only 7 lessons? Of course not. There are hundreds, if not thousands, of lessons. And the thing is there's gonna be more and more as we go on. But
Can you get a bit closer?
No, yeah, of course.
Thank you.
But these 7 lessons are for my life are mandatory. So I need to make sure I live these every single day. Yeah.
Nice. So you have 7 more in the new book, or it's non-determined yet?
Some of them are similar, but they're 5.
5. Okay.
Yep. 5.
Yeah, because I really like your writing. The way you write, it's the way you speak. You don't go into like convoluted words. You don't use like some fancy words. You just go straight to the point.
Yeah.
And you start with the idea at the beginning. Then you give like an anecdote of how you learned it. Then in the conclusion, you come back to the first idea and you summarize it very well. So, man, props to you on that.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Where'd you get your writing skills?
My writing skills.
Like the style you have.
I'm going to be honest. I think I can attribute it to just listening to motivational speakers, communicators like John C. Maxwell, who we were just listening to, Eric Thomas, Inky Johnson. Just guys that really go straight to the point. Here's my life story. Here's my retrospection. Here's the action I took, and here's what it gave. So, because I listened to them for hours upon hours while I was training for football, while I was meditating, and I guess my subconscious just picked up a bit of their style. Well, yeah, because to be honest, I just wrote it out. I just wrote the book out, and I didn't ask anyone for tips and tricks in the sense of how to write it. Yeah.
And how's your writing process?
It's funny you ask. I was just going through. Actually, I just found one of the first versions of just me finding a paper and starting to write out the ideas. I was just looking at it Friday.
Damn.
So 2 days ago, yeah. And the process is pretty cool in the sense that I found the first paper, and then if we fast forward, I remember being at my full-time job and printing out the book
On their printer?
using the paper and everything. But I printed out the book almost in the same size as this.
Okay.
So so every page was this size, but it was on a full. So then I cut it, and I made myself the actual book. So I would take one page, stick it back to back. So it's like the actual book when you're going through it.
Wow.
I still have that copy. It's at home, but
You didn't have much to do at work, huh?
That's the thing. I had a lot to do.
Okay.
But I did this during my lunch. I came in early. Sometimes I would come in 2 hours early to work,
Nice.
especially because there was like snowstorms. So I was like, man, I'll leave 2 hours early. Get there early. I'll get there early and just do my thing. But yeah, and the saying goes, right? While you're doing your full-time job, you could start working part-time on your passion. So that's what I did. And the process of writing the book was fun. Sometimes, they call it writer's block.
Oh yeah.
Where you have no idea what to write. I don't think I had that, in a sense, because it's your story that you're writing, right? So maybe sometimes I had, and it's a mix of fiction and my story, right? So maybe the fiction part, sometimes I had a bit of difficulty developing the idea, but I had two awesome friends that helped me not only translate the book, but find some ideas.
Did you write it in English or in French?
English.
Yes.
Yeah, I flow. In my opinion, I flow better in English, even though my mother tongue is French, which doesn't make any sense, right? But yeah, so from English and then to French.
Yeah, because you're very good in both, but I do see what you're saying. Like you flow better in English. For
Yeah,
sure.
yeah. I don't know why. It's.
Well, you live in the States too. You live in Alberta.
Yeah, that's true.
Where you don't have both, right? Here you kind of have the option in some places. Maybe not in Mirabel as much.
Depending where you are in Mirabel.
Really?
Yeah.
There's like an Anglophone community here?
Actually, not just Mirabel. No, sorry. It's more like, is it Saint Marthe? In Saint Marthe, they're a bit more English.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
You would expect like after like Montreal.
It's just straight
Full
French.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, there are a few places, but yeah.
Nice. Yeah. And so this book, right? I forgot what I want to ask. Yeah.
Sorry.
No. Anyway, so you had a conference on your first book, right?
Yes.
First one.
Yeah.
So man, how's that? Because you did like essentially you were in front there and you were just speaking. How does that? How do you build confidence to stand up in front of a large crowd and speak?
That's a great question. You do it every week, if not every day, in the sense that so again, we have our fit camp classes, right? Our fit clubs, and after every class, at least for my classes, I talk of everyday life. I talk about being your best, and after a while, whether it be 12 people here in the Pure or 30 people in the karate or 60 to 90 people at Le Givry, it just becomes a regular thing. But for the conference, I was a lot more excited, a bit nervous.
A bit?
just a bit. But when you start talking, the nervous part just goes away. John C. Maxwell says, listen, we're just going to have a conversation. For me, it's as if we're the one-on-one conversation. That's what I want. When I'm standing in front of everyone, it's just, guys, let's not make this as big as it seems, and let's just have a conversation. Let's pretend we're in my living room, and we're just going to talk, and I'm the only one who's going to talk.
So the trick is to imagine, like, instead of imagining you in front of like a dozen of people, you imagine like you at home with one guy.
Exactly.
Speaking.
Exactly. So it makes everyone feel cozy. Because the point of the conference is it's not for people to look at the person in front and say, that person is inspiring. The point of it is for the audience to be like, I feel comfortable, and this person is making me feel like I am inspiring. That's the goal.
Damn. So
right?
To make the other person feel like they're inspiring.
Exactly.
Wow. And how do you do that? Because it's easier to since the audience is listening to you, it's easier to be like, oh, this guy's inspiring. Like he's doing the talking, he's talking about experience. But how do you do through your talking make them feel inspiring?
You ask questions and let them answer. So you ask a question, and then you talk about something that happened in your life that pertains to that question. So then you ask the question, they start thinking about it, and then they make sense of the question with how you answered it for yourself. Because everyone has their own life map, right? A situation is not seen the same way by different people. So not everyone will answer the question the same way or see it the same way. But you can share how you answered it. So then they'll be, okay. So now they have a model to go after, right? So he asked that question. Here's how he answered it. Now, how can I answer it? Right? And it's something that's so cool. I think we spoke about it last time. There's a man, he used to come here. I think he took a 24 Maple as well. And he used to be, hey, bro, it's blessed. He used to be a teacher. And he said, Jay, teenagers, they don't need answers. I said, what? He said, no, they don't need answers. They just need the right structure of questions. They'll find the answers on their own. So I was like, wow. So just to ask questions that people think. And it was funny because the week leading up to the conference, I was listening to John C. Maxwell, and he said, ask questions that people can actually answer. Like, don't ask questions that people will be like, I don't know, or only questions that I have the answer to. Because then that keeps the power in my pocket. I don't want that. I want to give people the power so they can feel empowered. And so like there's a question that I asked during the conference, which was, do you know what are the odds that you're here today? And of course no one knows that. So I said, before I said that, I said, does everyone have a phone? And of course everyone pulled out their phone. I said, perfect. Here's the question. Go get the answer. So I think it's 1 in 400 quadrillion. Yeah. That's a chance that we're here today.
Like here as in we're alive. Not like at the conference.
No, exactly. Yeah. So imagine this. There's 1 in 400 quadrillion that a person is alive today. So what's the chance that we are here this morning?
Bro.
Yeah, exactly. So if that doesn't make you feel unique, because sometimes we'll compare, oh man, I don't have this, I don't have that, I'm not that special. Well, I think everybody's kind of special if there's 1 chance in 400 quadrillion, like, people that you are the one that's here. So, ask questions and just talk about your life, things that you've been through, and it gives them a model to look at and just draw their map. So,
right. Yeah, that's a good point you mentioned, because you have and I've watched a couple like motivational speakers too. They're always interacting with their crowd. So that way, like you said, like you listen to them and you're like, oh wow, this guy is inspiring. But the power is still in your pocket, right? Mm-hmm. So just give like a little bit of questions, just throw a bit of dust in there.
Exactly.
And then a seed, and then
it grows.
Throw some seeds, and then it grows.
There you go.
And no, I like that. And that's the way you learn the best, because if you just like spoon feed everybody, that's not gonna do much. That person's gonna they'll grow, but it's always like dependent on someone else.
Exactly. And I mean, even though it's in the Bible, I think it's just universal. If you teach a man how if you give a man a fish, you could feed him for a meal. But if you teach a man how to fish, you could feed him for life.
Right.
Because you could just go out and get as many fish as they want.
That's right, yeah. And it's funny, there's a guy at work, like how, I believe like in their email or something like that, they have like a quote.
Yeah.
At the end there, his is like, if you give a man a fish, you'll feed him for a meal. But if you teach him how to fish, he'll leave you alone.
That's good. I like that a lot.
Funny little spin on it. Oh man, and also you're a very charismatic guy. Like everyone I know that knows you, they they like you, you know, like you just like whoever it is, they come in here or you meet them, whatever, you instantly like are likable. You know what I mean? You have a great charisma, or as we say these days, you have good riz. So, what's your? Do you have like some tips to develop charisma?
So this past week I was listening to actually no, my friend sent me a short video of Steve Harvey. Steve Harvey, who is has a game show called Family Feud in the States, and he's also a motivational speaker. So in this video he talks about how he was in a multi-level marketing business, and his sponsor would call him every morning at 5 a.m. say, so you'd call at 5 a.m. and of course Steve is sleeping, right? So Steve picks up the phone, hello. And the guy, let's say his name is John. What up, Steve? This is John. I just want to tell you this is the best day of your life. You go and have a great one. And click. For 30 days straight. And every time Steve would answer, hello, hello. And he said at some point he would get aggravated. Right. So then one morning, John calls. Steve picks up, hello. And John says, Steve, why do you pick up the phone? And he's like, And Steve asked him, like, also, he's like, I don't know why I pick up the phone, but I have a question for you. Like, why do you call me and tell me this every morning? He said, because the way you wake up in the morning and the way you greet people in the morning will set the standard for your day, your energy, and how you welcome people. So that story is just, when I see someone, I greet them as if they're the person on the stage. And here comes Adrian. What up, Adrian? Right?
Right.
What's up, bro? And if it flips, where people, when they see me, that's what they think about. Like, wow, last time I was at the Pure Man, Jay, like, when he saw me come in, he was like, yo, what up, Julie? And I keep doing, and I did it, and I realized I do this. When I worked my night job, there was a guy named George, okay? He's a bit slow, just a bit. But every time he would come into the warehouse, I would yell at the top of my lungs, George is in the house! And I realized after a month of doing it, and I would do this every night. Every night. He grew, I would see his face change. In the sense like, wow, that feels nice. And that's when I understood, I'm like, I want to give that feeling to other people. So it comes to a certain point where you do it so much that it just becomes habit. No matter who's coming in. Sometimes I see people, actually it's funny, there's a lady that came in once, and she was having a bad, she comes out on Monday. She was having a bad Monday. And I looked at her and I was smiling as I usually do. And if someone comes into the Pure and they're not happy, I don't just like yell in their face, you gotta be happy, what's up, my name is Jay. I match their energy, or I stay just above their energy, right? And I said, I looked at her, I'm like, you remind me of one of my friends. She's like, what? I'm like, yeah, she doesn't like Mondays either. And she's like, what do you mean? Because she didn't tell me she didn't like Mondays, I just
assumed.
Yeah, exactly. And she's like, what do you mean? I'm like, well, you should look at your face, because you don't look like you like Mondays. And ever since that day, I mean, the conversation went on a bit more. Every Monday, she comes in and she's like, it's a beautiful Monday. I'm like, let's go. Her name is Marie. All that, man, it's just treating people like they're special because they are.
Yeah.
At the core of everything, I've heard it. I don't know how many times in the past week. It's like, people will remember, they'll remember what you said. They'll maybe remember what you did, but they'll mostly remember how you made them feel. Like when they see you or people talk about you, they'll remember. Like their brain will say, "This is how this person made you feel," whether it's good or bad,
Yeah.
or whether it's just neutral, right?
Right.
And there's something that's so important. Inky Johnson said, one of the things we take for granted most in life is when we leave the house, we think we're going to go back. When someone we love leaves the house, we think we're going to see them again. When we leave this podcast, we think, yeah, maybe, not even maybe, it's almost for sure for us that we're going to see each other at boot camp on Wednesday, or it's never sure.
Right.
It's never 110%. And when I understood that, that's why I hug people the way I hug people. That's why I talk to people the way I talk to people. That's why I don't judge. I'll judge myself. But if there's one thing, I hate saying I don't have time, but I don't have time to judge people and have conversations about talking about other people unless it's in a good way. And that it's just make people feel special, man.
Yeah, and man, you said a lot of great things here. That's gonna be a short. That's gonna be a good one. But yeah, like you said, I remember I had this talk with Andre. Shout out to you, Dre. He said, like, we were talking about confidence, right? And he said, just go reps, right? So that's an important one to develop both confidence and charisma, talking skill, reps. Just do it a lot.
Yep.
And he would say, like, just go to someone, see, like, I don't know, we're talking about girls, right? But it could be guys, anybody.
Mm-hmm.
Just go and just give them a compliment about, not like a generic one.
Yeah.
It could be generic too, but I don't know. You say, like, yo, Jay, I really like your hoodie, like pure white. The contrast is cool. I like it. And what's the worst that could happen? The person's not gonna say, "Oh, don't talk to me anymore."
Yeah, exactly.
And even if they do, that's on them, right?
Yeah.
So just like give compliments to people, reps, and at the same time your talking skills develop. Like when you said, "George is in the house," like me personally, I wasn't a good talker. Even now, I'm alright. And
good.
I wouldn't have thought of saying, "George is in the house," like those words, like that sentence, like stuff like that. After repetition, you get like that, those skills with words, right? So you put cool words together to give a cool sentence. So stuff like that is very important. And what's the guy's name?
Inky Johnson.
Like ink with a Y.
Exactly.
Oh, nice.
Inky Johnson. Yeah, he was a football player. Well, he was in. I think it was Tennessee he was playing for, and one of the greatest defensive backs while he was playing, and he was projected to go top 30 draft pick in the NFL. So he was in his last year of university, and all he had to do was play those 10 games of his last year, and he was projected to be an NFL player.
Wow.
He was 5'9", 100 and let's say between 170 and 190 pounds for a defensive back.
That's a small guy.
Exactly. So you need to be really good to be projected to go top 30 draft pick in the NFL. Just to talk about like how he was on the field. Anywho, I think it's the first or second game. He goes to make a hit, and he hits the guy, I guess in a way that wasn't right. And his body just shuts down on the field. So his boys come, they're like, "Yo, Inky, get up, man. We gotta finish this game." He's like, "Bro, I can't move." Like, "What do you mean you can't move, bro? Like, we gotta go finish this game." He's like, "Man, I really can't move." So anywho, they go to the hospital. The doctor checks him, and they're like, "We need to rush him to like emergency to an operating room right now because this guy's about to die."
Oh.
Yeah, his subclavian artery. Something happened, and he was bleeding. I think inside his chest. So they do the operation and everything, and the doctor comes in and says, "Listen, Inky, we were. I got some good news and some bad news." So he's like, "You got some bad news? Like, I'm still alive. I was gonna die, and I'm still alive, and it's still bad news." He said, okay. So he says the good news is that you're still alive, and the bad news is you'll never be able to play football again in your life. Now, I won't go listen to his story. Just type in Inky Johnson on YouTube, Inky Johnson's story, and go listen to it. From where he started to where he was in that after the operation, for a doctor to tell him that his mindset was, nah, man, I can't be done. I can't be done. Like, you weren't there, bro, when I was on the field and my mom was working, because he had his mom was a single mom. She would work at Wendy's, and he would train by himself in the dark, and then he would wait for his mom to come in and use the car lights to train. All this to say that, man, I would have broken down. The doctor said, yeah, you can't, because he doesn't have he can't use his right arm, one of his arms. I think it's his right arm.
Damn.
Yeah, if you go see his videos, he can't use his right arm.
Wow.
So imagine you're within a year away of becoming an NFL player. You're within a year away of becoming a millionaire. So you see it. You see, like, none of my family's gonna struggle after this anymore. I'm an NFL player. None of my homies that are in the hood, I'm gonna be able to pay their tuition wherever they want to go. My mom that sacrificed so much, I'm gonna be able to put her in a house. All this thinking, right? And now, boom.
Damn.
And he's like, God, like, I know I'm right there. Just like, do something where it could work. Like, I could go play in the NFL and I could just pay everything. I could just make everyone's life better. And it didn't happen. So then he became a motivational speaker, one of the best in the world. And he could do everything he wanted to do. Now, a lot of people would have crumbled. But because of the way he was, his mindset from when he was young, and he was saying, oh, God, just please let me go to the NFL just so I can take care of my family. He said, God said, no, this is not the route I want you to take. Here's where I want you to go. You'll be able to affect more lives that way. Matt Inky Johnson, bro, a hell of a guy.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
That's a crazy story. And to keep that mindset, to keep that positivity, right? Just to say, hey, maybe, I won't play NFL, but, there's a reason, You don't know the reason.
No.
There's always a reason. And, even you could be like, cynical and say, everything, whatever, there's no reason. Or you can have a mindset and just say, there's probably a reason, let's find something else. So, honestly, like, now that we know the whole story,
yeah,
it's probably better that, I know it's going to sound pretty bad, but it's probably good that he had that accident. So that way something clicked, and now he's able to inspire more people. Probably more people than he could have as a football player.
Exactly.
Because, athletes are inspirational, don't get me wrong, but a guy that's been through such a thing like he did, like not losing his arm, but losing control of his arm.
Yeah.
And being being able to tell the tale and learn from it, that's probably more inspiring.
Exactly.
So, and like you said, that he said, don't take anything for granted. Because, man, that's
Bro.
I'm just thinking about, like, small things, I have a gig with a guy, so I'm like, oh, okay, this month I'll be making that amount of money. Oh, that's cool. Nice. And then you say, cancel. Like, man, I got hyped up.
Yeah.
But you take stuff for granted, and those are small things. Imagine your right arm control, right? Like that guy lost control of his arm. You don't think about that. Like you said, after this podcast, I'm going home, going to the gym, whatever.
Exactly.
Maybe I'll lose my right arm too. Who knows? So
it won't happen. Let's say it won't happen.
Yeah, bro. Imagine I'll call you. Hey man, remember that Inky Johnson story? Look at that. No. But seriously though, yeah. And the way you said, like, coming back to the greeting people in the way you do, in such a happy manner. It's maybe this is the last day we see each other, so
Exactly.
might as well,
Yeah.
make up for it. But you could take it as a cynical, as a pretty not pessimistic way, but like maybe this is the last day ever. You could see it's stressful, but you don't do it like that.
No, I do it. I do it in a way that I just want the person to feel nice, to feel good. Like yesterday, I went to a party. Monsieur Rock, I don't know if you remember, but anyways, he just turned 60. He's one of the guys that comes to Fit Club.
He has a curly hair.
Exactly.
No,
exactly.
Yeah.
So
he's 60.
60. Exactly.
Damn.
Yeah,
He looks younger.
Probably one. He's the oldest guy at our fit camps, and he's one of the most in shape.
Yeah.
So he's a beast. But I didn't know. I think I knew his kids that were there and one other person, but I hugged everybody. I said, I'm a hugger here.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, wow, okay. And it's almost the same reaction with people who don't know me. They're like, oh, even people who don't like hugs.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. That was fast.
Exactly.
That was nice.
Where I wanted to get to is I just want to, again, make people feel special. Feel what it is to have someone just take the time to give them my attention. And we've spoke about this before. I can't remember where I heard it. Someone said the most important person in your life, yes, of course it's you, but it's also the person you're interacting with at that moment. That's the most important person. Yes, my wife is very important. My kids are very important. But again, I might leave here, and God forbid it happens, but I might not make it home. And the last person I'm with is you. So you are the most important person in my life right now. Now imagine everyone did that. A lot of people will feel a lot less lonely because they'll get the love from other people they interact with. You go to a store and the cashier treats you like you're the last person they're gonna talk to. Like, how's your, like, oh, it's nice. Oh, you're getting all these. Are you getting in shape? Are you taking your nutrition seriously? Or if you're buying Oreos and chips, you're like,
cheat day.
Exactly, on your cheat day. But just take interest in people. Take interest in people. People love to talk about themselves, and not in a bad way, but just to, like,
Yeah. Genuine interest and
exactly,
because that way you don't have to think, what am I going to say? Makes small talk, which honestly I think it's the hardest part. Small talk makes it much easier.
Yeah. Just let the person talk about themselves, and you get to learn about different kinds of people. You get to learn a lot about yourself. Some people will tell you your story, and you're like, man, that seems a lot like me. Seems a lot like me, and they bring it from their perspective. So then you learn, okay, man, I could have done that way, and my life would have been totally different. Not that you regret, but you're learning. So like next time that situation happens, you're like, I remember what she told me. Let me test it out. And then if it works, it works. But in the sense that every story makes you develop, right? And it's a major work on your perspective, because you have to be careful not to absorb everyone's energy as you listen to the stories. You have to learn to use what you need, learn from what you don't need, and put it away.
Yeah, see them like a book, right? Their stories like a book.
Exactly.
You read, Like, you don't become the book, right? But you take stuff from it.
Exactly.
By the way, you nailed it.
It was good?
Oh, bro. Dude. The best. But yeah, no, and yeah, genuine interest and authenticity in general. I feel like it's maybe people talk about it, so it's like, oh yeah, be authentic. Yeah. But man, it's so important. Just like you said, just talk to someone and genuinely be interested, and maybe you'll learn something too. Be open to that too, like to learning. A lot of people are closed, and be open to learning. Just genuinely talk to that person, and from a third perspective, from like third view perspective, it's a fantastic conversation like we're having right now, right?
Yeah.
It's a great. Try to have a podcast with everybody. That's kind of like how you should see it, the way you talk and stuff like that. This guy, Chris Williamson, Modern Wisdom. He's doing a podcast. He's like he has like a buzz cut, and he talked to a lot of people like Joe Rogan. Joe Rogan, David Goggins.
I might know who you're talking about.
Yeah, if you see him, you'll recognize him.
Is he kind of funny?
Not really. He's British. He has a British accent.
Okay.
He's funny, but like he's not like a comedian.
Okay.
And he was telling a story. He had like he was at someone's place, and he was asking about the cat of that person, and that person was like, "Yo, you're in podcast mode." He's like, "No, man, I just want to know about the cat." But like, what I'm trying to say is, when you talk to people, having like a conversation where you generally like want to know about them, where you actually listen, because there are people they don't really listen. Like, yeah, it comes in, and then they're like, "Okay, you're done. Okay, now I get to speak."
Yeah, they're just waiting. Okay, me.
Right. And man, I see a lot of those people. There's people like they have big personalities, right? Like they talk also, you kind of let them go. You don't get in the way, but sometimes those people like they speak, and then you say something, and it's like, cool. Okay, now I.
Yeah.
So gently listen to people, and who knows? Maybe it might change something in your life for good.
For real, no, you will change something, and I want to get back to you said, except like learning, you got to keep learning, right? You said that just before. John C. Maxwell said, "A lot of people are dead. It's just not official." Because they're not living their passion. And so the only way, again, in my opinion, to live your passion is to find out what it is, but then to have the mindset that I must keep learning every single day. So, and the day, I think during the conference we spoke about it. Sometimes you'll get advice from someone, and your response is, "Yeah, I know.
Yeah,
I know. Oh, yeah, I know." Right? Well, the second we say "I know" is that builds the wall where learning is supposed to come in, and you're just building a wall, and you negate. Is it negate? Yeah. So there's no learning happening because you're telling your brain, "Yeah, you don't need that." Instead of, "Wow, that's interesting. I'm going to apply that." Right? The perspective, instead of saying "I know," is, if I am hearing this from someone else or hearing this information again, it might be because I need to take action and do it. Right? So that's why it's so important, like, to keep learning every single day, because that just makes you develop. You get to live your passion. Well, when you find out what your passion is, it'll keep you in your passion.
How do you do that? Finding out your passion.
Again, this is my opinion. It's an action that you could take every day, that there's no quantity to it. It's something that makes you feel fulfilled and accomplished. That gives you a sense of freedom, whether it be freedom of time, financially free. That will come with it when you start living it out, and there's nothing bad about that. You could be tired. You could have worked 24 hours on your full-time job, but you're still excited when you're done that 24 hours to go work on your passion. So all these little things, they add up where you just feel great. And when you find that thing, like this is living our passion. Doesn't matter whether it's 5, Sorry for missing yesterday.
Don't worry about it. We're here now.
Whether it's 5 a.m., 3 a.m., 5 p.m., it's, man, let's just get her done. And then living your passion you'll find no excuse to do it and every reason to do it. Yeah. And what's so funny, yesterday I was talking at Mr. Rock's party. Someone gave me a list for them reasons why they couldn't go work out. Right? So
They had like a list? Or?
Well, they were going through like, oh, this, that, and this and that. Actually, no, it wasn't at Rock's birthday. It was at Clara's.
Clara's Journée Découverte.
Exactement. And so the lady was going through, oh, I have this, I have that, I have this. And so I looked at her. I'm like, can I be direct with you? She said, yeah. I said, those are all the reasons why you need to do it. She's like, yeah, you're right. So that, you see, she didn't say, I know. She said, yeah, you're right. So that's when I was like, okay, perfect.
We're somewhere. We're going somewhere.
Exactly. But yeah, man, especially that sense of fulfillment, feeling fulfilled, because it's Tony Robbins. He said, you can't, like, having success without the sense of fulfillment is failure. Like having everything you want in life every single day, and you don't feel great. You don't feel good. You don't feel great. You don't feel like, yes, I accomplished something. Imagine that.
Yeah, that's tough. You have everything you want and you're still there like, I'm not happy.
Exactly. So, again, in my opinion, if you have everything and you're not happy, you don't have everything. You don't live your passion.
Makes sense.
So, yeah, that's how you find it, man. Just that sense of accomplishment, and you can do it every day without getting tired of it.
That's a good checklist to have.
Yeah.
Because sometimes, like, it's hard, especially nowadays, like, you have a lot of responsibilities, right? You have to go to job, you have bills to pay. There's a lot of things. So it's rare times where you're just there sitting and like, all right, let's work on myself, let's like do R&D and see what my passion is.
Yeah.
But I think like it's important to take some time where you just experience stuff, just try out stuff. You stay open, then you try stuff out, and then you're like, hey, I really like this. Then you do it again. Hey, I still like it. Because, there's like this thing, the beginner's luck, where when you start at something, you're pretty good.
Yep.
And then at some point, it happens with everything. You hit a wall because, it's tough. At some point, you plafond, whatever you
plateau.
Say. You plateau.
Yeah.
Which is a French word too.
Yeah.
You plateau, right? So like that's when you find out whether it's actually your passion and you keep working, or it was just a fad. But another thing I want to ask you, and I'll ask you something I wrote down that I really want to have your opinion on it.
All right.
In the same way, how do you know whether it's actually your passion, but you're just like lacking a bit of discipline that day or something, or whether like this is not for you and you should just like try something else?
There's a big indicator, and you'll let people talk you out of it. Yeah. You let everyone, because if it's not something that's deeply rooted in your heart, you'll let people say, and it's funny because it's actually the proof that it's the right thing. But so let's say I wanna bake cookies, and I start baking cookies, at home. I make nice cookies, and then my best friend comes over and laughs at me. Hey, bro, you want to bake cookies? What are you, man? Like, bro, you don't bake cookies. You're a man. We don't bake cookies. And he just laughs at you, and it just stays there. And you're like, and you look at your cookies, and you're like, yeah, you know what? Maybe I'm not meant to bake cookies. And so it's your last batch of cookies. You just eat them, you share them, and even your best friend, eats the cookies. He's like, "Oh, these are really good."
Very good, but stop.
Exactly. Like, bro, you say they're good, and you say I shouldn't make them. So those moments will happen, but the moment where you really find your passion is same situation. Your best friend comes in, and same thing happens. He says, "Bro, you baking cookies?" And your reaction is, "Yeah, man, I'm baking cookies." And then if he starts laughing, you're like, "Man, it's great, bro. I'm glad you find it funny." Because that proves that I'm exactly where I need to be. When your reaction is not, I'm like, you shut down, or you say, no, I'm supposed to bake cookies, or you go against like what the person is saying, and you just accept, like, "Hey, man, I'm glad you find it funny. Here, just eat some cookies. They're really good."
You don't get defensive.
Exactly. You just accept. You go with the flow, right? You just take his energy and like whoop,
Yeah.
whoop. Like when you can become an energy bender, like Avatar the Airbender.
Yeah.
When you can become an energy bender, and just let it flow, then man, I'm gonna be making cookies. No matter who says what, because man, this is what I love. My cookie, the process of making my cookies, of showing people, getting them ready, and putting them dans mon présentoir after that. Because I'm starting at home, but I could see it, and the fact that I see it, my vision is I can see further than where I am. No matter who comes through and tells me my cookies, I shouldn't be baking cookies. So there's a million other people who are waiting for my cookies. Your one opinion is not going to change me making cookies.
Right.
So you see, just there, finding every reason why I should be making these cookies instead of the one or two best friends who come in and laugh at me because my cookies aren't good, or I shouldn't be making cookies because I'm a man, or peu importe. Because we could have 100 or 99 great reviews, but that one negative review just like, it's like, right?
In that way, with Warrior Spirit, I'm pretty lucky because it's the opposite. I get 99 bad reviews, and then I get one good. I'm like, yes.
Are you serious, bro?
I'm exaggerating. But okay. Most of what I got, like on the comments of the ads, was like I got a lot of like prison workout, which I don't get it. Like how
prison workout?
Well, how like yeah, they were talking about like, oh man, these guys are doing prison workouts. I don't see how Hydro Power Bag is in jail, but anyway. But yeah, we get like a lot of like this is bad, this is stupid. And those like when someone says like, oh, your product's stupid, like okay, that doesn't mean anything, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I would get a lot of people that would say, oh, this is you're gonna get injured. This is bad. Don't buy it. Like I got a lot of like negative comments on from people on Facebook ads, Instagram ads.
Yeah.
And I got used to it. Like okay, haters, right? And then you get like one great comment like, yo, I like this a lot. That's a great idea. I'm like, wow, nice. So yeah, I would get the opposite effect.
Now, the people who, my question for you is, the people who left those comments, do you know if they bought the bag? Like if they bought the bad comment? No, yeah, the people who left the bad comments, do you know if they actually bought the hydropower bag?
Probably not.
Yeah. No. What did you tell me David Goggins said?
He said that there's no hater of yours that is outdoing you. Yeah. That's kind of the mentality I had, like, and you see the comment, you click on that guy's profile, like, I want to see how he looks like. Yeah. You know how when somebody like is slow or someone cuts you off on the road or whatever, you speed, you get next to him to see his face, or her face. That's kind of how I felt. So I would be like, oh man, this guy he doesn't even have a profile picture. He doesn't even like that, or like a generic profile picture, stuff like that. You're like
picture of his dog.
Yeah, like okay, man. I'm supposed to what? Get frustrated at him? I'd go after some of them, not like in a bad way. I wouldn't go like, no, you sir, stupid stuff like that. I would go like for the people that had like a genuine comment.
Yeah.
Like one dude that said like, "Oh, this is stupid." Okay,
There's there's
whatever.
no
foundation
to that.
Yeah, there's nothing to it. But the people like there was a guy. He said like, "Guys, get ready to sue them because the hydropower bike will break your back and stuff like that." So I went, well, okay. I see your concern. I see what you're saying, but that's true with anything. Like if you deadlift,
you could destroy
your back. Squatting, like you see a lot of those videos where people just squat and they fall. Like that's part of working out. And with the hydro power bike, what's nice is that it's not a metal weight. So if you drop it on your foot, it's not gonna like destroy your foot like a dumbbell will, right?
Yeah.
So I'd engage with those people, and most of the times they just like they wouldn't answer back. But the real reason I did it is not to answer them necessarily, because most of the times like I knew those guys will probably like get frustrated or just not answer back. Sometimes they will. Sometimes they'll be like, good point or whatever. But the real reason I did it is to show another person who would see this conversation between me and that person. They'd be like, oh, okay, this guy says it's bad for the back. Yeah, that's right. And then they'd see my comment and they'd be like, oh, okay, he answered it. So no concern. So that way they'd see like we have a great foundation, and I know what I'm talking about, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, no, there's no haters that is gonna outdo you.
Exactly.
They wouldn't be hating otherwise.
Exactly. And my second question for you, what made you start Warrior Spirit?
Oh man, so let's start with Warrior Spirit, the community, right? The movement.
Yep.
We'll get into the brand after. So it was me and PB, and we were training martial arts. Both of us were doing parkour. We were working out like calisthenics, stuff like that. So we were like, hey man, let's start like a warrior training. So we put down on a piece of paper like the physical workout, mental workout, all of those, and it was pretty like it wasn't really deep, just like basic stuff. And then we had like I remember my dad had at his job like points. You could get like stuff with the points. So and when I mean stuff like object, so I got like gloves, MMA gloves, pads, stuff like that. So I started to have like equipment for striking. And at the time PB was doing kung fu, I was doing judo.
Holy crap.
So we combined the both to have grappling and striking. And then we would spar a bit. By the way, those are our first videos. Our first videos are the sparrings we did, and if you watch those,
where are they?
On YouTube.
Them? They're on YouTube?
Yeah, I think they're still public. I know I put them on private at some point because, man, after I started doing Muay Thai, I would look at that, I would be like, ugh. Oh, man. And I thought that was good. I posted that garbage. But anyway, so that's how it started, to keep track of our progression. And even the name, it was like Warrior Training 24 September 2019. Like, it wasn't meant to, it wasn't like clickbait or no thumbnail, no nothing like that. So that's how we started the videos, to keep track. And then we're like, hey, might as well, like, we got some exercises, we got some cool stuff to say. So then we started recording videos. We started publishing them. We came up with the logo, Warrior Spirit, the name, and then boom, the video started. So we started in 2019 making videos.
Wow.
But we were training before that. We were also playing like we were doing like physical workouts, but we were also playing like chess. We were PB had this game, I forgot what it was called, but it was like like some pins you had to move. Anyway, like intellectual type games.
Yeah.
And then we started doing also like tutorial videos on certain exercises. I remember we did footwork training, so we had like that's how broke we were. We didn't have like the ladder for the footwork.
Yeah.
We were too broke to buy one, so we had like wood like branches that we put at a distance, so that it was kind of like a ladder.
Wait, did you use wood or you used branches?
It was wood, like not actual branches.
Okay.
But the only reason I used wood is like there was a piece of wood laying on my house, so I just like chopped it
Okay.
in like same length.
That's pretty dope, man. That's pretty dope.
I didn't even put a rope to tie them together to make it like a ladder.
You just
That was too long to do. I was lazy. So yeah, we did that video. We did like a lot of videos, coordination training. That one actually I'm gonna start doing again. We talked about juggling. We talked about like throwing balls at a wall, catching them, and doing stuff like that. So we did a lot of videos in that style, and that was like early COVID, right?
Mm-hmm.
And at some point we're like, man, we're at home. Everything's closed. You know, we can't go to the gym. You know, because it's good to train body weight, but I feel like you're kind of limited in some ways.
Yep.
So we were like, you know, what can we do? So we thought about making a product that is very versatile, that you can use like for all your trainings, right?
Mm-hmm.
That you can adjust the weight, everything, because it was lockdown. You couldn't buy too many things. You couldn't go to gyms. And something that was affordable too, because as you know, since you own weights, those are freaking expensive, right?
Bro.
So you just, I think now it's $2 per pound.
Yeah.
So if you want to buy a 50-pound dumbbell, which is like, well, it's pretty, okay, let's go like a 25-pound dumbbell, which is pretty good for like someone who just wants to get fitness, right? 25-pound dumbbell, it's $50.
And you need usually two.
And you usually need two. So that's $100 right there for 25 pounds. That's maybe good for, let's say like you want to squat very light, okay? But usually you want to go a bit more than that. So let's say you go for a 40-pound. That's $80. So you're just $180 for 3 weights.
Yeah.
So with the Hydro Power Bag, you can adjust it. There's a weight you can adjust it. Like it has like you put it like in a thing, and then you like turn a wheel, and then it picks up the right weight, which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
But those are expensive too.
Exactly.
They're like, I don't know how much, but they're over 100.
Yeah. It depends if they're on sale or not.
Yeah. One.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
One of them, right? So with the Hydro Power Bag, you could like adjust the weight pretty easily.
All you need is water, right?
Yeah. You use water. You can adjust the weight pretty easily. When it's empty, you could put it in a bag. Like it doesn't take a lot of space, because if you buy a lot of weights, you know, you can't like cram them, right? They take space at some point. So that was like the optic for the brand. We also did rings, gymnastic ring, which is in the same idea as the Hydro Power Bag. Something versatile, something that doesn't take a lot of space, something affordable that you could use anywhere. And we had also boxing gloves, MMA gloves in there, because we do martial arts. And that's how the brand started. Yeah.
So now you have boxing gloves. The MMA gloves, they're still there, right?
No, we sold out. I sold everything.
For real?
Yeah, I got rid of it, and yeah, we for now we won't be making any of them.
Okay.
But if there's like a popular demand,
then you'll do it.
Then they'll come back. But yeah, so MMA gloves are gone. Still have we also have double end bags. Same idea, versatile training. The double end bag, what's cool with it is that it's unlike a boxing like a heavy bag, the double end bag hits back, right? So it trains your defense as well. It's the ball with the elastic bands.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, because when you punch, it hits you back, so it forces you to train your defense, but also your reflexes, because sometimes you punch it, and it's not gonna stay there, right? It's gonna move around, so you have like to time yourself to punch it right. So that's a common boxing tool. It's nothing new.
Yeah, but it's really I used yours at Exclusive when I was there, and like you said, coordination, defense, because you need to anticipate where it's coming. So if you hit it there and it goes to your left, it's probably going to come back more to your right, or so on and so forth. And I just watched one of your videos where you were doing it. You look like a pro.
Oh, thank you. On Instagram, like one of the recent ones.
Exactly.
Yeah. That's man. That was I got alright with it. Yeah, I got pretty good.
Yeah. So that's how it started. Now, Warrior Spirit. How do you feel where it's at and where you're going?
So, as a movement, as a community, I want to start doing more on that. you remember I talked about the mental training. I talked about the physical training, all of that.
Yep.
That Warrior Spirit actually started with.
Mm-hmm.
So I rewrote everything in a very like depth, concise way. So there'll be a YouTube video coming soon about that on our main channel.
Yep.
And yeah, it will be more about networking, building a community, talking to people, doing all kinds of training, seeing all kind of people from many spheres of fitness. Right? Could be calisthenics. We know a lot of guys in calisthenics that
Yes,
are
we do.
freaking wizards, man.
Yeah, some
see
Sade.
Yo, bro.
Mr. Seku.
Man, Sekou is so crazy because he's jacked
For
and
real.
he's he could be a bodybuilder and he moves like a freaking feather. Like, it's insane.
Like a ballerina.
I don't comprehend that.
Neither do I.
He defies physics.
He floats, man.
You know who else does that? You. Bro, man, if you see yourself, like, there's this video you have on your Instagram at that Entrepot CrossFit or wherever it was called.
Yeah.
You do like a cartwheel,
Mhm.
right? Then you backflip and you airwalk. Bro,
Yeah.
you're in the air for like 10 seconds, man. It's crazy. It's crazy how high you jump. I remember we used to do box jumps together
Yep.
at the Exclusive,
Yeah.
and man, you stack 2 boxes, some plates under there, and you still like. So yeah, no,
I love jumping, man. It's but yeah, that's
it's passion. You're good at it. Someone says it's ridiculous, you'll go, no, man, sure, do it.
Yeah. The only criteria it doesn't fit, if I'm extremely tired, I'm not gonna go do box jumps.
Fair enough. You know,
But
man.
everything else, it does make me feel accomplished when I get the right height.
Yeah,
but,
man, yo, because you're freaking good too, and you're jacked. You know, you got like that 6-pack going on.
But I look at Sekou, I'm like, man, I have some work to do, bro.
Yeah, I mean, that guy outclasses everybody.
He posted a video of doing back squats. So he has the bar on like one of his 5 traps.
One of the many traps he has.
And you look at his back and you're like, how is this even possible?
Right?
Bro, I'll post it in my stories later on today, but I was like, whoa. Come on. Okay, I got to get my trap game on. But yeah.
Man.
Yeah, he's a specimen.
Yeah. Man, that guy, fuck, man, it's like he was built in a lab or something. I don't know.
For real.
He's got it. He's got it all.
Right. But from Warrior Spirit and where it's going, building a bigger community, AC Productions. Talk to me, man. How's AC Productions going?
So AC Production, that's my personal brand, but I'm not like all the videos you would see on AC Productions. For all of you guys, it's I do videos, I do pictures. It's my content creation for brands, for restaurants, that's basically what I do. And it's my personal brand, but I don't appear in the videos. I'm always behind the camera. You will never see my face. You will never see. I'm never like the star of the videos, of the pictures. You will never see me. So that man, that's starting to go well. I'm starting to get clients. I'm starting to get reoccurring clients, building relations with people, and hopefully, man, soon enough, I'll be able to make that full time.
So, with what you just said, pretty interesting, because you technically just said that. I don't want to put words in your mouth, but almost the main mission of AC Productions is to make other people special.
Yes. Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah, we're on the same line there, buddy.
I was listening. I'm like, man, that's a great mission.
Oh yeah, and me, like I like to do the podcast because I like to talk to people. I like to, like we said earlier, like I like to genuinely learn.
Yeah.
From them, from their experience, and that's why I like to do the podcast. But I don't like to be the center of attention. I don't like to be like the main one. I mean, if someone like says, "Yo, I'm having a podcast, want to be our guest?" Yeah, of course, I'll do it. You know, it's fun just talking. I don't mind. Like we're doing right now. Now it's on my, the ball is in my part, my yard now.
Yeah.
So talk a bit about me. I don't mind, but I really like picking someone else's brain. You know what I mean? And in a way, like it could be selfish because I like to hear the others talk and I learn. But it's like you said earlier, giving love to people. It feels selfish in a way, right? Because you feel very good when you do it. But
Exactly.
it's great for everybody in the end. So that's what really matters.
Exactly.
But yeah, no, AC production is starting to grow. And yeah, I mean, if the goal is always to they grow, their business grows, I grow too, my business grows, so everybody's happy.
Win-win.
Yeah, win-win. That's the idea. I'm not there to as a good business owner. You're never out there to scam people, and if you do that, it might work a couple times. Let's say you have this client, you charge him a lot, and you don't do a lot. You know, you're like, oh man, look how much money I made. Look how little I worked. Yeah, great. Yeah, it worked that time. How many times will that work until those people see that you're scamming them and it won't work with them? Then that builds you a bad reputation. So other people won't come to you.
That's right.
And you're like, great, it worked once. Is that what you want to do? A one-time job?
Is it worth it?
Right. So, I always want to have a great relation with people where everybody wins. Everybody gets to eat.
I like that. I like that a lot, bro.
But to get back at something I want... okay, before we get to the big question.
Yeah.
I remember one I wanted to ask you earlier. Will you do audio version of your book?
I'm actually working on that right now.
Amazing. And you read it?
Exactly.
Perfect. Cool. Because you always I don't listen to audiobooks. That's more of a ego thing where like, no, I gotta read it for real. But I hear a lot of people talk about that when they listen someone's book, they really want to have the person that wrote it read it.
Yeah.
So I'm happy you do it. I'm not gonna listen to it. I'm gonna actually read it. Again, the ego is strong.
You could do both though.
Yeah, well, that's actually something I want to ask you. I want you to tell everybody. You told me a while back that you have a trick to read books like super fast.
Yeah, of course.
So say it to everybody.
I actually got this trick from my partner Diego, because we love to read, but it's sometimes making the time to read is it's pretty tough sometimes. So what he suggested, and it works, but you have to be concentrated. Like you're reading is the only thing you're doing, is you're going to put on the audiobook in your ears, and you're going to have the book in your hands, and you're going to put the audiobook on speed times 2. So you're going to multiply the speed times 2, and you're going to listen and you're going to read at the same time. So that's why you have to, if you don't have headphones on, just make sure you're in a place where it's very quiet. You won't be disturbed. And as it's going on, you're reading. So your finger is literally going like this.
So you're using your finger on the book?
Yeah. And you're listening.
And you're listening to the book times 2.
Yeah.
The speed. Okay.
Yeah. So the main reason, you don't need to use your finger, but I do suggest using a tool or a pen or something.
Something to follow the words.
Because it's going very fast. And it works. You actually retain almost more information than if you were just reading slowly or just listening by yourself, like by itself. Like I went through it's called Make Your Bed. It's 144 pages or so, maybe 114. Anyways, I went through it in an hour, hour and a half or so.
Wow.
It was like I had to finish a book before midnight, and it was 10. So I just took one of the books that I already read, and I had to read it again. And I went on YouTube. I said, "Make Your Bed" audiobook, and it's on YouTube. So then you could put the speed. You can put the speed times 2, and I put it times 2, and I went in my basement. And I was just. It works, man.
Wow.
Yeah.
Because that's a good strategy for for people reading books, because sometimes when the book is, I read the Jordan Peterson's book, the 12 Rules for Life, the
Yep.
first one, and Jordan Peterson, unlike you, he has some bigger, he used some complicated words sometimes, like he
But
talks
man,
a lot.
his brain is like
Crazy. But sometimes like picking out his brain, it's like, oh man, it's a lot of hard words, big topics, right? So I would read, and then I'm like, at the end of the page, I'm like, what did I read again? And you have to go back, and it's hard. So having that trick, that might help.
yeah, because you'll hear him at the same time.
Yeah.
Start with simple books. Like once the audio's out, I would test it on the Spirit of a Champion, because it's very simple the way it's written. So while you hear it, and start with simple books,
And then you build your way up.
yeah,
And for like fun, I guess for pleasure, it's a great trick. But also when you're at school,
oh yeah, I never thought about that, but yeah,
I'm sure that's a great way to increase your study performance.
of course, because man, to be honest, I used to fall asleep reading like manuals, like whether it be math or whatever the case may be. Il faut étudier la géographie ou des choses comme ça. I would not even that I don't want to study. It's just my brain would tell me shut down.
Shut down, man. This is boring.
Yeah. But now if I go into it knowing that, man, it's going to take me 5 minutes, and I'm probably going to retain as much as if I stay there for an hour, but it's going to take me 5 minutes. Now I'm hyped. I'm like, let's go. It's going to take me 5 minutes. I could go through 3 books in 15 minutes and done. I don't need to study anymore. So, yeah.
Do you have, because that's another thing. I remember when I was in school studying, it was pretty hard. It was pretty boring. Wouldn't get the best results. But now with like what I've learned throughout the years, the businesses that I do, I'm like, man, if I go back to school, I'd be much better.
Yes, because
studying.
Yeah, because you learn from real life.
Yeah. Yeah, and tricks that, like you just said about reading. That's a good trick, to increase your studying,
Mm-hmm.
productivity tricks and stuff like that. So, if we would go back to school, we'd crush it.
Yeah, because imagine this. Imagine you had that trick. Imagine if in high school you hung out with a friend that was in CEGEP, or you had like a cousin or someone in your family that's in university, and they taught you everything that's coming. Not in the sense of the material, but in the sense of how to study while you're in high school. Imagine the advance like you would have,
Bro.
and that's something that can be done. It's not that hard.
Yeah.
You just go to high school. Hey, you go to high school. Hey, Eric, do you have a friend or a family member that's in CEGEP or university? Yeah, I do. Well, I suggest you go talk to them and ask them how they got there, how they're studying right now.
That's crazy, because what you're saying is 100% not only right, but it works. But in high school, that's not how you think. Like,
No, but exactly. But imagine it was.
Yo. Because I feel like, especially in high school, but CEGEP as well, and university too, to a certain extent, it's very emotional. What I mean is that, you're thinking, oh man, I gotta pass this class, I gotta study hard, there's this, oh man, there's a lot of things. But if you would take it like a business, or like the productivity videos you would see online,
Mm-hmm.
the productivity bros, that's a thing, it's a funny expression. You take it like, okay, so I got this exam coming up. Okay, what I need to study, I have this. Okay, how can I improve my concentration on it? This is how I would do it. Bam, you put the book times 2, you follow it out with a pen. Like, if you would take it like that, very rationally,
Yeah.
people would be much more successful. But people are getting very emotional, right? And with good reason, because usually when you're in school, that's like your only thing you have. So
That is right. I never thought about that.
because I was thinking recently, I had there's this what do you call it? Like a headhunter, on LinkedIn,
Yeah.
like a recruiter.
Mm-hmm.
She texted me like, "Hey man, there's this job. Would you be interested? We would have an interview and stuff like that." Before I had this job I had right now, I'd be stressed, right, for the interview. Ooh, the interview's coming. But now I'm not stressed at all. Why? because I already have a job. So if I don't get there, cool, I already have this one.
Mm-hmm.
But when you're in school, you don't have that like that cushion, you know.
Yeah,
So
this
like,
is
if
all
I-
you have.
Yeah. So if I fail, it's a wrap. I gotta start it over again. You won't be like, that's okay. I already got this degree, unless that's the case. But usually, you work for your degree. That means you have a job, right? So
Wow.
I get why people get emotional
Mm-hmm.
with exams and presentations and stuff, but if you would put the emotion a bit on the side and focus more on the rational, you'd be more successful. And speaking of success, there's this final question, and we could wrap it up. We're like an hour. Actually, we'll see for them. So let's say you're doing you have your bar here, right?
Yep.
This is your grind,
Mm-hmm.
and there's a fine line between when you have your grind between keep doing it, it's hard, keep doing it, it's just about patience and you'll get it. And there's a fine line between that and what you're doing is not correct. Recalibrate, take a step back, recalibrate, and then start over.
Mm-hmm.
How do you know which is which?
Great question. Great question. I would ask myself, am I really giving it everything I've got? Because when you do, that answer it answers by like the answer comes by itself. If you're going towards something at 110%, and we spoke about this, it's like you'll have success. You'll have success no matter what's happening. Like the graph will go like this. Like you'll go up and then a bit down, go up, bit down. But if you're half-assing it, then that question will almost never be answered. In the sense that you'll always be tiptoeing. Like I've been working hard for this job. Maybe it's what I want. Maybe I'll go see over here. Maybe I'll do that. But when you make the choice, when you make the decision and you go 110% for one job and it doesn't work out, then that's when the recalibration starts over. Well, you think, okay, man, I like the job, but I'm not. A lot of people, they jump into a job, and this is what I've learned from customers that come in. They're like, there's no more challenge. I'm comfortable. And a lot of people don't like that. Like people who want to have success, they're like, I don't feel recognized. I feel like I know everything at my job. And that's a great indicator. Okay, maybe it's time to change jobs, or maybe it's time to start working on your passion.
Right.
Right. If you're at your job and you've reached you've plateaued, and you're like, I could probably do what all my supervisors do right now, because they've sent me everywhere in the company. I've done everything, and they haven't put me supervisor. Oh yeah, maybe it's time to change or start your own company.
Right.
So the fine line is drawn where just ask yourself the question, am I giving everything I've got to this? You don't need to lose sleep, but it's going to happen. Like, have I had a few 36-hour days? Have I had? No. Have I had days where all I think about is, okay, at my job, I've got this to do, I've got that. Once I've done that, have you, actually, here's a question. For your job or your passion, have you started planning for like the future?
Like as a safety net?
No, not even as a safety net, but in the sense, have you, like, let's say if I am, maybe at McDonald's, right? And, now that I think about McDonald's, I think there's a plateau comes very, very fast. But let's say I just make the burgers. Have I thought, okay, I'm making the burgers, how can I make them better? So like tomorrow I come in, I can make them faster. And then from there, okay, maybe they'll promote me to, I'm making burgers and fries. Okay, I can make the burgers faster, make the fries. If I put in the fries this time, make the burgers, put in the burgers this time, they'll be ready at the same time. Are you planning? Because what happens, the more you do that, the better you get. Now, the burgers taste the same, the fries taste the same, they're ready at a better time, but you're developing the habit of being more efficient and whatnot, so you're developing yourself.
So it's never a loss.
Never, exactly. No matter where you are. Because you're focusing, okay, look, I'm planning. I'm planning for my better self. It always comes back to like me developing myself.
But can I challenge you on something here?
Yeah.
So let's say that you have your business, you're developing yourself, right? You're optimizing everything.
Mm-hmm.
You're becoming better at the business.
Yeah.
But that business, it's Blockbuster. We all know what happened with Blockbuster. It's shut down. Right. So how do you know that your business is a Blockbuster that is meant to, to just die? And it's not your fault. It's not the fault of everybody. It's just that it doesn't work and you have to change, or that your business is actually good, but you're still in that process before the success. So you just have to keep going.
Mm-hmm.
Or, you know what I mean? Like,
so what's
how do you know, like, if you have like a dying business and that you should like change ships and retry something else?
Mm-hmm.
Or no, keep doing it. You're close, but just keep doing it.
Okay. So the foundation of both is what are my core values, of course, but like, am I offering people what they want, or am I offering them what I want them to have?
So take yourself out of the picture.
Exactly.
Gotcha.
Because sometimes I'll give something to someone because I want to give it to them and I think they need it, instead of taking a step back and looking at what well, actually, let's say someone walks in today and asks me for a shake that replaces a meal because they're hungry. I'm like, oh no, I think you should have one of these energizing teas. You take that, all right? And they look at me like, no, I'm hungry. I would like a shake. I'm like, no, here, take one of these teas, because I think that the teas is top seller. We make 3 times the amount of teas than we do shakes. You should take this tea. Like, no, I want my shake. Right?
Yeah.
So if I'm having a dying business, I just got to ask myself, am I really offering what people want, or am I offering them what I think they need?
Damn. So it's a mix between finding your passion that makes you do it and makes you improve yourself.
Mm.
It's a mix of that and what do people need. So maybe it's a bit paradoxical when you think about it.
Well, again, in my opinion, the more you develop yourself, the more you realize, the more you're more aware of what people need. Because you're more aware of what you need. The more you develop yourself, the more you develop the habit of developing others. Again, if you become a leader, it's we can dive into this another time. But the more you develop yourself, the more you're aware of what people need and want. Right. So that's why the core should be, okay, what is my passion and how can I change the lives of people? Right? The POLAC system, the C at the end is change the lives of people. That's of people in a positive way. So while you work on your passion, you find your objectives and obstacles, you create your lifelines, you take action, and you change the lives of people. And always changing the lives of people has to be there. Because if in your business, it's all about, okay, my passion, here are my objectives, and these obstacles might come up. Here's the time I want to do it, and I'll take action. But then that's only about you.
Yeah.
I mean, again, in my opinion, starting a business is living your passion, but like to make it profitable, it's never about you.
Right.
It's never about you.
Well, that's why I said like it's a bit paradoxical, because it's your business, it's your passion, you drive it.
Yeah.
But you have to take yourself out of it.
Exactly. So This is kind of well, to me it's not weird. A few people do it. To realize to realize what's going on is we need to make it a habit of what you just said. Take a step back, but literally see yourself from a third perspective, a third person, where we're sitting down here, and I'm actually sitting down at that chair over there, looking at us speak. How's my posture? I could have it a bit better right now, right?
Like right now, yeah.
Right now, yeah. So looking at myself, like, I could have a better posture. I can articulate a bit better. Right? I scratched my forehead a few times. I don't need to scratch my forehead. When you ask questions, they're like, why did I do that? So that's the equivalent for a business. Again, in my opinion, okay, my customers aren't coming as much as they used to. Now, this is where you detach.
Yeah.
How do I welcome them? Am I doing enough publicity? Do people see us? Because there's like on average 24,000 cars that pass here every day.
Whoa.
And most new people, when they come in, they're like, wow, I didn't know it was here, but I pass here every single day.
Yeah.
So then that's like, I was saying, I looked at myself before, I'm like, I scratched my head. Well, that's the equivalent of me for my business. Okay, well, est-ce que j'ai mis assez de publicité? Did I put the stickers in the window? Do people know that we offer energizing drinks and meal replacement shakes? No, they don't. They just see Pure Nutrition. You know what it is, because you know me and...
Yeah.
Right? But if you just pass by in the street, nobody knows what Pure is.
Right.
So make it evident. But yeah, you step back. Step back.
The founder of Gymshark,
Mm-hmm.
Ben Francis, and the founder of Bear Nutrition, Nick Bear, both of them said the same thing. Because both of them, at some point, they were CEOs of their company.
Yeah.
And they're like, what do I want this? Do I want it to be my business, my success, or I want the business to be successful, so I have to step back? And they were like, yo, I'm about the business. I'll step down and put a better guy in there. So in the end, you're not the face of it, like you were, right? But you're still winning. Because the business wins, you win.
Yeah.
Jamal, thank you so much for this.
Thank you, bro. I appreciate it, man.
This is the second one we did, but probably the first one that will be on the new channel. So anything coming up, anything you want to promote or anything like that?
So we had our first conference, our first personal development conference in February. Our second is coming up this week, which is Friday the 22nd of March, and we will be having another one in April. So stay tuned for that, guys. And then as for our social media, you can find both of us on Instagram. We have Facebook pages and YouTube. So
all the links will be in the description.
So just click on those. Make sure you go follow. Stay tuned for our second book, guys. It's gonna be an emotional book.
Oh,
yeah, it's gonna be more of an emotional book, which is gonna tie into the first one. And not many people know this. I'm also working. As soon as I'm done this book, I have another personal development book, which is going to be around the lines of how to team up with yourself.
nice.
Because until we team up with ourselves and understand that we are our biggest cheerleader, our biggest coach, our biggest student and teacher, man, when we understand that, then we can move forward and do it for others, right?
Do you have a name for your second book?
Oh, I can't give that out yet.
Perfect. Let's keep the suspense cooking.
Yes, sir.
And guys, as always, check out Warrior Spirit. Get your hydropower bag, get your gloves, get your rings. It's time to train for real. On that note, guys, unleash your inner warrior. AC out.
Let's freaking go.
Woo!